Reilly, Spider-Man. He's a clone, does whatever a Spider-Man can. That's not Ben Reilly, but Peter Parker, because of the clone. Peter Parker. So he's got all the same coolness. I don't care what Kevin says. He's got a hoodie with no sleeves, because he's Ben Reilly, the Spider-Man. That's the clone of Peter Parker.
Ba-dum-bum.
I wasn't ready for that.
That's good.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, hello, and welcome to Atomic Mass Transmissions Live. Today we're painting up Ben Reilly, Spider-Man. He's got a hoodie. I love it. It's one of my favorite things. It's so 90s. This is like the most nah, it's not the most 90s. I think Cable's the most 90s of all things, comic book wise. Like just pouches, just. Oh, and Maverick's blaster with the double banana clips, chef kiss, love it. All right, so I think we're just gonna paint up a regular old Ben Reilly today, the clone, red bodysuit, blue hoodie, immaculate. Should be a lot of fun. So I say we get started. You know, the party started when we hear the self-made impromptu. It's. I don't think anyone understands exactly how impromptu it really truly is.
There's always a moment where I stare into Dallas's soul as he says words, and we enter a universe I like to call the tunnel.
It's just,
Where
you don't. I plan so little beforehand. I'm just like, I know I have Ben Reilly. Did I check and see if I have my brushes? Yeah, I brought my wet palette. Yep. Did you think about anything else? I did not think about anything else. We're gonna paint with jazz, kids. We're painting with jazz. We're painting with our hearts. Our hearts, because we love. So I got some transparent yellow and some glaze medium. Hello, everybody. Everybody's welcome to join. Everybody's welcome to hang out and paint a clone, because this is all about love, joy, prosperity, friendship, family. It's all about family. And little miniatures that we get to paint. Seeker, TK, Chris Burnett 2010. Indomitable design. I think OG Spider-Man does something completely different than what Ben Reilly does, because it's a difference of the personality and sort of the point in time in which we were trying to convey in the different Spider-Mans. Cable's the most 90s till Jubilee makes her MCP debut. Jubilee is dope. Love Jubilee. If you do Jubilee, is it glasses up or glasses down? Somebody's feeling better. Me, I am. I was so sick. And now I don't feel so sick. And I am all full of just doing stuff. First time seeing the post sculpt on this is phenomenal. Feel like a level up engineering wise. Level up engineering wise. I don't know if it's a level up engineering wise. It's definitely an understanding of what we can get away with and what we can't get away with. If I remember correctly, we tried a couple different things for old Ben Reilly here, and came up with this really cool, like he's zipping up. He's getting ready to be a hero, right? As per his name would indicate, Spider-Man. And we thought it would be kind of fun to have like this little chunk of concrete that he's about to, whip, with his spider strength into somebody's noggin. Dallas, hope you're feeling better. Thank you for the great advice at Adepticon regarding painting miniatures. Painter slouch is gone. I'm breathing, and the trick with anchoring my pinky finger helps. Yes, Ion. Yes, the pinky finger. It helps so much. And the elbows on the table, keeping your diaphragm open, getting in good posture is super important. I'm a big fan of good ergonomics. So, want to make sure you can paint, especially when you do stuff like the palette doesn't have paint on. I know it's in the well palette because it's a wash. Really good ergonomics is super important. Coming from my background, as a commission painter and studio painter for a long time, you want to be able to go for and be able to paint for hours, right? Like it's super important to be able to not get fatigued and not get worn out. I know a lot of people I've met in the past, when they're painting, they get tired, and so they just don't paint as much. And sometimes they don't even know they're tired, or they're feeling fatigued, and they get discouraged and they don't paint. When your livelihood is dependent upon 8 hours of painting, right? Like it becomes real vital and important to be able to, do so for 8, hours. So I worked a lot with figuring out for myself what worked and talking to other painters what worked for them. And so I do absolutely love discussing ergonomics. I think it's super important. There's nothing worse than having a Saturday where you just get to paint all day and you can't because you're just feeling exhausted and you don't even know why you're feeling exhausted or that you are actually feeling exhausted. And so you just kind of get tired and you just can't focus. Having good ergonomics actually helps you focus, helps you stay on task, all those really important things so you can get your hobby done, Hobby is supposed to be enjoyable, right? That's what we do. We want to create fun, enjoyable things for hobbyists to work on and tell their stories and create, and it's super important. And,
the thing we talk about all the time, where it's like
constantly.
Painting begets more painting, right?
Painting begets more painting. True.
And I definitely struggle with it too. If I get super into it one day and paint for like 6 hours or so, then I'm in pain the next day. And even though my heart wants the paint, my body does not want to do it anymore. So setting yourself up to survive your hobby is
there's all things you gotta set yourself up for success, right? There's no such thing as, I always say, I got paint all over my shirt. Oh, hang on, I got periwinkle paint on my shirt. Hold on, this is driving me crazy. Hold on, can I get it off? No, the answer is no. Negative, Ghost Rider. Nope, that's just periwinkle paint on my shirt now. Maybe I'll cover it with a little gray paint and it'll go away. Right, just paint over it. Why the yellow base? Does it accentuate the other color? Yeah, typically, well, I mean, if you join my Adepticon class, Speedy Spider-Man, you know exactly how I paint Spider-Mans. I usually lay down a yellow glaze because it lets the red read brighter and sharper. I like bright, sharp things. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Yellow is a nice foundational color for red. You don't need a perfect coat either, right? Because red's going to go over top of it. There's your 2 coats. So it's nice. What does the plaque say? It says 118 Reilly Drive. Is that 18 or 16? And what does that mean? Does anybody know what that means? I know what it means. I know what somebody was going for. Another shirt lost to paint. it's funny because I used to have a pair of pants that was my only pair of pants that didn't have paint on them, and I called them my dating pants. Because that's what you go on a date with, is the one pair of pants without paint all over them. But now all my pants have paint on them, all my shirts have paint on them. I love the separation from his eyes and the rest of the head. Is that going to make so much easier? Yeah, we try to make sure Spider-Man has... Spider-Man's, you know, one of those very visible and prominent features is Spider-Man's eyes. So anytime we work on a spider person, we want to make sure that those eyes are big, bold, and easy to paint because they're super important to the design of a spider character, right? We want to make sure that they read and are bold and you get success on those, right? I mean, we want to make miniatures that you get success on no matter what, but the eyes. It was awesome meeting you at Adepticon. Hope you're doing well. Oh, thanks. It was awesome meeting everybody at Adepticon. I enjoyed Adepticon. Got to meet so many people. Seeker was there with his dope blue jean jacket with airbrushing on it. It was an airbrushed Wolverine. It was dope. I don't need my dating pants anymore, Andrea. They worked. All right, now I'm going to use a little red. Was this the Spider-Man I used for my class? Nope, I used Spider-Man from the Rivals pack for my classes. So if you were able to join my Speedy Spider-Man class, you got to paint on the Rivals pack Peter Parker Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Did nobody take a guess at what the plaque is about? Thought for sure somebody would. This is transparent red with a tiny angel kiss of transparent yellow and a tiny kiss of the glaze wash medium, just to give it some translucency. My favorite clone. This would be good inspiration while working on my worthy. Oh.
They're already at it, Dallas.
They better be. I already started mine. I got so inspired by all the worthy entries this year that I started my own display piece. Getting me to do a display piece, that's a lot. Like, if you can, like, it's so much work in my free time, like, to do a display piece. Like, I'm not a competition painter anymore. I've retired from that life. So getting me all worked up and inspired to do a display level piece is really saying something. Like,
It says even more because you showed up with that without me asking you to do one.
You're like, hey, we should do Sandman. I'm like, hey, what if it's a display?
What if I turned it up to 11 immediately?
Let's go to 11. Look, like Andrea, I live my life thumbs forward.
Yeah. I love that that's an inside joke for 3 people.
There's literally 3 people. I only said it because Andrea's in here. That was for Andrea. Thumbs
Andrea
forward.
likes, to clue everybody in, Andrea's a fantastic member of our team who has enjoyed being able to rent scooters for various reasons and chores to pop around locations with ease. And She lives a life with thumbs forward because she only goes at max speed.
Max speed. It's all about max speed. It's
All
full
the way
throttle.
forward.
Full throttle or nothing.
Oh gosh, Stryker, I don't know. I don't know about that, but we'll start with Dallas's.
Web of Spider-Man 118. First appearance of Scarlet Spider. There you go. I just picked up a big run of Web of Spider-Man, and I don't think it's the next thing I want to fully flesh out. I got a couple other things. I'm working on a pretty big run of Silver Surfer also at the moment. And also I got a really, really dope run of Ghost Riders recently that I think I want to really start filling out. But Web of Spider-Man definitely will be one that I pick. You know, issue 1. I have issue 1. I think I have issue 1 through 12, and then I have like a little gap. But I'll pick like a number and collect up to that number. That's usually how I work. I usually like pick like a range, and I'm like, that's my range I'm going to focus on. You know, with Uncanny, it was 141 to 350, but then I just kept accumulating other things outside of 141. I'm leaning to the Spider-Verse look with extremely defined musculature. Yeah, for this one. Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd nominate extremely defined musculars as TTCs have already been done, so there's no changing that. Congrats on the getting married on May the 4th. Surprised, Ann, you're not a May the 4th.
You know,
There's time.
I considered it.
There's time.
Yeah, I considered it, but no. I can't remember why we didn't end up going with it, but I think it was due to the location that we wanted and the availability.
That makes sense. So I did this light blue. Now I'm doing my more local color blue. This will bring up that primary blue, but I'm going to sort of feather it out over that light blue. So that light blue reads through in certain spots, so it feels like a highlight. What else we got, kids?
I have a question.
I got an answer.
It's about local color. Is that what you were calling it the last time we were having the conversation about making sure that the local color stays consistent throughout, like that it doesn't get too darkened or too lightened by the highlights?
Yeah, I mean, there's always different philosophies on like how far your local color should go. For Marvel Crisis Protocol, I really like a nice local color, and that's basically the color that things are. And then so you want to make sure that it reads light and dark appropriately. You can paint Crisis Protocol so easily by only using local colors and like dark lines between. So Yeah, local color. It's the blue that this hoodie is, right? So it's this primary blue. I cannot get behind that head because of the angle of the camera. Well, maybe I can. So I want to make sure like I maintain that local color and it stays very true and prominent, and I don't lose that later. But I want that light blue to shine through as well because that's my highlight color. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Oh man, I totally forgot to paint his head. Hairdo, hello. Chat, why didn't you got my back? I was feeling the yellow head. I like it. People are just like, oh, I don't know. I was feeling. Oh, hey, you forgot to paint the other things. Hairdo, hairdo, hairdo. Skidoo. Hold your blue, hairdo. That's the color we're going to use. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to mix a little bit of that hold your blue into our local color. We use that local blue color, which is just blue, just monument blue. And that made the color of the hoodie. And then we're going to mix a little holder in there to create shadow. And holder's got a nice turquoiseness to it, which is just a nice tone to add here. Just adds a little richness. Especially if you learn how to stretch it out a little bit. It gets pretty yummy. Loungefly's doing 21st anniversary bag for Queen Amidala. A new bag. Sounds like
I know.
Sounds like somebody should tell Simone. We're using monument paints right now. Except for the hold your blue. Sorry if this has been asked loads before, but what's the setup with the rig you have the miniature on? Is that just a spring can lid? Okay, so I'm going to be very, very honest with you. This is a gimbal, generic term. And what the purpose of this is to keep me on the camera. I really don't like it. It's very difficult to use when I'm actually painting. But it's super useful for keeping me on the camera so you can see what the heck I'm doing. But it is literally a mic stand with a big ball of blue tack. And then this is a spray can lid with double-sided tape and the miniature. Now this I use all the time. Like this is how I hold my miniature, is with a paint lid, double-sided tape, miniature on top. This is how I hold my miniature. I just don't use the gimbal when I'm painting at home. I use the gimbal to keep me on screen. Like I have to stay on screen or I wander because I move a lot. I shift my body weight. I keep moving my arms in different positions. It's very useful for me to be able to paint for long periods of time. And I'm just sort of a antsy person anyways. So, you know, it keeps me in focus. But I do like the primer lid, or this is a clear coat lid. For my hands, I like a big grip. I don't like small grips. I like a big grip. Small grips, your hand is tighter, or if you're just holding the base, you're pinching. We're gripping animals, so I really like a nice big grip for my hands. So I use the lids. Hopefully that helps and answers your question. If not, I'll answer it again. Yeah, of course. I'm always happy to help. So this is a little Huldra blue and Pyro red mixed together. I'm going to blend this out over top of the costume ever so little gently. And this is just adding some more richness and depth to the red. We're starting in the shadows, start stretching up. But you can see how that yellow shines through and gives that little bit of highlight to that red. I'm trying to paint some Legion miniatures and they keep coming off the bases after using plastic glue. Use super glue to glue miniatures to the bases. When you're gluing the miniature to the base, use super glue. When you're gluing the miniature to miniature, use plastic glue. The bases are a slightly different plastic, and although plastic glue should work, some of them work better than others. So it's just way easier to add. It's just way easier to glue your miniatures to bases using super glue. I definitely do. It's how all of our videos have taught people how to do it. And you're just going to get more success. But when you're gluing miniatures to miniatures, like especially hard plastic miniatures, let me tell you, plastic glue is the way to go because they melt the miniatures together. It literally just fuses the bits. Literally fuses the bits. Dallas, have you ever had to wait on an MCP miniature to counterbalance? I've seen some miniatures that look like they could tip forward. I have never once had any miniature from MCP or Shatterpoint or Legion for that matter tip over. Everything is, we think about all that stuff when we're designing the miniatures. You know, obviously if you have something very forward on the base, you want to consider where you put things on the base, obviously. But that's true with any miniature, no matter what the material is. You always should consider where it is on the base. But everything should stand up on their own. They look like they're going to tip. That's an illusion. That's part of the illusion that we try to build into the miniature when we're designing them. Like we're trying to think about how to have that illusion of flight or levity, you know. Like look at this Ben Reilly, right? Like the only thing that's holding him up is this. Like now, so we had to think about this, right? That's where you put him. Yeah, Gucci, you put him. You have to think about where it's at, right? But as long as you place things in the right spot on the base, they should all stand up, right? But like this all counterbalances, and also plastic is super, super, super light. It's super, super light. The bases are designed to be large footprints, which gives a bigger bite on the table. It means less tipping. But yeah, as long as you place things properly on the base, you should have no issues. It's a feature, not a bug. I put together every MCP miniature together and how to run it. Yeah, I've never run into any issues either. I've put together every MCP miniature probably 6 times. Every single one probably 6 times. And never had any issues. You know, we do make hobby miniatures, so some are more tricky than others, claw, but that's part of the design, right? That was part of the philosophy of that miniature, was a more complex build. Like that was purposeful. The Quinjet is the only thing built from A&G. It tips hard until I glue it to the base. Yeah, that's why the base is there. The Quinjet is a jet, and I don't know if everybody remembers when they were a kid. Airplanes are, back heavy. You have 2 wheels in the back of every plane and 1 wheel on the front, and all the jet is on the back. And many model airplane kits are back heavy. They will flip up. If you go buy model airplane kits, many of those will tell you to weigh the nose down. That's part of the design and shape of airplanes. And instead of doing that, we put the base in there for that purpose. The base is there. If you use plastic glue, you anchor those wheels to that base, and that base is hard plastic. And it welds it, and that's to keep it from tipping up. Model airplane kits, many of them will tip up. My ATST falls over, but then I glue one leg so it can swing up straight and kick. Well, sorry, Johnny. You made that choice. What about when gluing a mini to terrain? Plan on using that color? Well, that's still plastic. That's all plastic. It's just the base. The bases, the MCP bases, the Legion bases, the SharePoint bases are usually a different plastic. Everything else is the same plastic. Yeah, as long as Hulkbuster, as long as the thrusters are at the back, right? That's the counterbalance. Yeah, Ion, a lot of metal weights in the nose of airplanes. That's how airplanes work, right? I remember when we first released the Quinjet, and people were like, the nose, it flips up unless I glue it to the base. And I'm like, that's how model airplane kits work. That's literally how model airplane kits work. I got to learn how many people came from that old school model airplane world when they were kids, when we released that Quinjet. Whoever designed how Shuri is attached to the base should be forced to play Sentinels competitively for a year. Fun fact, I designed Shuri. Fun fact, I will competitively play Sentinels any day of the week. And I'll even take Crossbones with him. The meta's not ready for Crossbones. That's just all I'm saying. Y'all have no idea. Shuri has plenty of bite on that foot to grab the base. Plenty of bite. Sentinels are dope. The line between top and bottom of the tier is much tighter than one might suspect. Pagani will tell you. We were just talking about some of the most underrated characters this morning. A little bit of yellowy highlights. My underrated list, I'll tell you a little bit. I think Crossbones is so underrated. We have live stream games where I am just beating OG Crossbones. OG. I will have Crossbones on the other side of the table beating the brakes off your leader on turn 2. Yeah, old Crossbones with Sim. I was there when OG Crossbones went ham on some wizards. Yeah. Was on stream when Crossbones took a mailbox to beat Captain America down. It was so good. Crossbones is just like, I'm picking up this mailbox. Whoa! Oh, Crossbones is so good.
Yeah, I don't think people really understand that you will die on this Crossbones Hill.
Die. What was the one Pagani was talking about earlier? Was Ancient One? It's not the car kid, it's the pilot. Brock Rumlow. Nah, he doesn't take a lot of work. Turn 2, baby. Turn 2. Brock Rumlow is a monster. People sleep on Hawkeye? I think so too. Hawkeye is so dibbity dope. My partner told me the other day I'm not allowed to play Ghost Rider ever again. She's like, nope. Hawk is in my Avengers list with OG Cap. He pays for my Hulkbuster Space Laser? Sure. I'm for it. All I'm saying is like the line between the top and the bottom is much slimmer than one might consider.
Also, it's all tactics too. So how one person thinks about using a character is not necessarily how another person thinks about it.
Yeah, I mean, I play a very specific way, and I like the way some things work that you might not like, right? That's play style. It's not play style, or it's not the character. It's the person's play style. You know, the thing that's considered the best, I might not like the play style of it, right? Yeah. You know, maybe I don't like direct damage, right? Maybe I'm a control person, and that's how I go to win, right? So you can't say your preference, something doesn't fit your preference doesn't mean it's bad. It means it doesn't fit your preference.
Yeah, like it's fair when people are like, I thought this character would do this. Well, yeah, that's how you set your own expectation.
We all set our own expectations. That's why I don't set any expectations. I try to love things for what they are. But I do, you know, I like things. And sometimes the only thing that matters is the character. That's it. Why do I take magic in I would say 70% of my MCP list? I love the character Magic. It doesn't matter what Magic does. I'm bringing Magic to the game, right? Why am I bringing Ben Reilly? Well, I love Ben Reilly. Or maybe I'm like, well, I just love Peter Parker, right? Like, so I'm just always going to take Peter Parker. That's why things exist is, you know. Marvel Crisis Protocol is a game of characters that we love. And Brock Rumlow just beating butt. Well, I can't answer why Crossbones TTC Diggin is unaffiliated. I understand that you can't take it when you splash them, but I think that that's sometimes just part of it. Like, some of those cards are designed around the character to not be splashed, right? Sometimes that's the purpose. You know, Pagani or Schick. You know, you should talk to Schick when he's on stream on Tuesdays about stuff like that. Like, he can answer them more succinctly. Like, but it's a lot of times like the card is unaffiliated or affiliated because that's part of how the card needs to play to make it work, right? Boo beep boop 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 boo. Ben Reilly is better than Brock Rumlow. Whoa! Wow! Oh, I like when somebody was like, I like Spider-Ham. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. I think we all like Spider-Man. Or Spider-Ham, sorry. I like Spider-Ham and Spider-Noir. I like Spider-Noir a lot. And Spider-Ham. I like many things. He's a Spider-Man. So if I wanted to paint Spire in a noir style, any tips? Black and white. Make sure you create lots of different variations to your blacks and whites. You want like warm blacks and cool blacks. Super important. So any element touching another element should be a different temperature or texture. Super important. Maybe you will ask Will. I'm surprised he's not in the chat. I want to make a real thin glaze of Folger Blue. What's your thought process when choosing inks? You mean like choosing overall inks or like which inks to use or give me a little more context there, T. Like what do I like in inks? Like I like punchy inks. The punchier the better. The more pigment the better. Like, cause you can always thin paint, you can't thick it. About to get real 90s in here. When to pick inks over acrylic? It's when I want punch. It's when I want vibrancy. So if I want to add more vibrancy to a color, I'll add inks. Or if I'm doing more glazing. So it's really just I'm painting with jazz. Whatever kind of strikes my fancy. I like mixing like a nice brown ink into brown paints to make richer shades to like leather colors. I like using magenta inks a lot. Actually, I just wrote an article, Anne. I'm finishing it up hopefully this afternoon and sending it to you.
Hooray!
And I used some magenta inks on it to add like some real magical punch to
Exciting.
the elements. It's always jazz hands because my hands play jazz. It's true, I play saxophone. So it's really just looking at like what the miniature calls for and like what the effect is. And you know, painting Scarlet Witch, I definitely wanted a lot of inks because I wanted that magic to really read. So I really kicked it up on the magentas and made sure that that magic effect really came through and became almost a life unto itself. Magic punch. Unless I do it on stream, it doesn't happen. Are we talking about saxophone playing? Oh gosh. Like I'm a big fan of Tim Capella. What can I say? Look at that spider. There's a spider in here. There's a snake in my boot. Periwinkle, black, some wash glaze. Makes a nice little glaze shadow for silver. Be a little thinner. Want just a little toning down of that silver, but not fully breaking it away. Oh, I think we did the version where he's got the little leather pouches on his ankles. I forgot. I painted him silver. We'll have to fix that sometime. I forgot. Sometimes he's got all silver on his ankles and wrists, and sometimes he's got like little leather pouches. So I have to adjust that. This is just periwinkle and black mixed together to make like a very thin wash for our silvers. And then we'll do another darker wash. This will be brass, but we can put a layer of silver. Oh gosh, 7 minutes. What else do we need to do? What else do we need to talk about?
Man, we have. I'm trying to think if there's anything. I think we have said that Mini Stravaganza is going to be in July. We haven't announced the exact dates yet, but definitely something to mark down on the timeline awareness for everybody that our next set of big announcements will be in July.
That Mini Stravaganza is gonna be so dope. You have no idea how dope it's gonna be, 'cause it's gonna be so dope. What does the sign say? It says 118 Reilly Drive. And then earlier some people guessed what that meant.
Elle asked if we're going to have any live played games, and we are sticking to our format that we kind of started up last year that focuses primarily on like starting each day with a roadmap and then following up with panels with developers and engineers to give people, an insight into, how we think about things from all sorts of different angles, and that's I think what we can provide best to y'all, because there are lots of people out there that make great game content, but we're the only ones who can talk about how stuff gets made. So that's what we're focusing on. And Dallas will be out here doing a lot of hobby streams as well.
I got a lot of hobby streams. I gotta start building miniatures. I got so many miniatures to build for Mini Strav. He's so close to done. He's so close to done. But I'm not gonna be able to finish him. How to paint your monsters like a black and white monster movie. Oh.
Man,
Well, that's pretty good, huh?
that's a great idea.
Mm.
We'll store that one away, right, Dallas?
I mean, maybe we can do a black. I mean, not main strap. That's been set. But maybe it's something we can talk about sometime.
Yeah. It's just a solid idea.
Black and white is all about not black and white. It's all about you want to paint with variations of gray. And the big thing is learning how to work with texture and temperature. You need like a cold black. You need like a hot black. You need all that kind of stuff. So I think it might be a worthwhile conversation to have at some point. People might like that. Yeah, black and white was not like there was very specific colors on how all that stuff works. And yeah, the old Addams Family set was very pink. Green lipstick was super important because it's just the way the black and white read on screen. So you needed colors that read better. So they learned very quickly how to like make those colors read in black and white. So they had to use not, obviously they weren't dressed in black and white, but they also weren't dressed normally. You need contrast. So it was all about learning how to create all that contrast that read when it was turned into black and white, or it wasn't turned in. This is the way it was. We work with contrast constantly, and when we're painting miniatures, and so it's a lot of the same thing. We're just not turning them black and white, but we are thinking about contrast and how to get the most out of it. Oh, he's so close to done. I'd say he's about 90% there. We need to finish the pillar. We need to finish highlighting the metals. Maybe go one more pass on the red, maybe with an ink glaze. Pop the highlights and then glaze it, something like that. And then we need to do the pillar and the base. Pillar and the base, very simple. Those will be done the exact same with my concrete recipe that I use. I just have one like sort of concrete recipe that I use for all my Marvel Crisis Protocol. You can see I added a little pumice like I typically do, right? There's a battle going on in the city. There's a crisis that needs to be invited. So we want to make sure that story is being told. I think it's pretty close though. That's not bad for an hour.
Nice work.
We did it. We're really close. I'm really happy. All right. Every Tuesday, every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on Twitch. You can check us out live. It's Atomic Mass Transmissions live. I'm going to say live one more time. I'm alive. Thanks for asking. And then for all the latest news, information, and announcements coming from Atomic Mass Games, you should check us out on Twitter and or Instagram. If it's not news, we don't post it. If it's news, that's where we do post it. What? I'm just stating facts, right?
No, it's great. It's just if it's not news, you won't find it here. Sonny.
That's right. If we're not talking about it, it's not news at all. Like, let me tell you, I know about the news. The news, that's what we're talking about.
It's in the papes.
We're going to have to stop.